So Reynor, you and Clem, you both played Protoss sometimes in the tournaments. Why is that? Why is Protoss not the other race?
Well, Protoss is the best and the easiest race.
I'm gonna put on my slightly more actual commentator hat because I think this match will actually be strategy oriented as opposed to hero flailing around and winning. But who knows? In the top left of Ruby Rock, the Frenchman from Team Liquid, the best Terran in the world.
Clem.
And up against him, one of the only who can keep up with him, the Italian stallion, the Zerg in the red.
Reynor.
Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. It's time to like, subscribe, and get started. Clem versus Reynor. Reynor, Z Imba. Clem, Imba. Just in general. We got Protoss and we got balance in all things. But maybe not this game, according to some of the players and most of the crowd. As over the last few weeks, as they mentioned, they've played in like 4 or 5 major tournament matches, including the finals of big games, EPIC Cup, which I already have up on the YouTubes as the best finals of 2026. Technically correct. We'll see how long it holds up. Maybe this. Well, this is a semi-final, so it doesn't really count, but we'll see if it holds up as another incredible match. They're almost dead even in games this year. I think Clem has a slight edge, but only very slight, and honestly, every series feels like it just goes back and forth. Clem has an advantage if he's able to get the jump. All right, if he goes Heli and Banshee and he kills. Now, like most, if you kill off half a dozen drones, you don't lose anything, you're usually in a pretty good spot. But if Reynor is able to box out the early aggression and get that mid-game economy, it does seem like Zerg players have figured out how to use the stronger Baneling, the rebuffed Baneling, because I would like to rebuff the idea it was buffed. It was reverted to what it was before. The nerf was reverted. Am I a Zerg apologist? No. But people call me that on occasion. They can call me what they want, except on my phone, because I'm a millennial. I don't answer calls. Let's not be ridiculous. Reaper jumps into the main, but the third base already laid down as Reynor cutting out some of the gas early on in order to make sure he has the minerals for the third. And getting that third hatch before the Reaper can do anything about it. Picks off a Zergling. The crowd goes wild. First blood goes to Clem, which is worth 50 gold, I believe. Another Queen Brenda bounced out of the way. The music is so loud, but we're going to turn it up so we get all the sounds. Let me know if everything sounds good, even if you're well into the future. Third command center. Is that a second factory? Clem's taking us to McDonald's. All right, wait a second. Settle in. Inspired by Gumi Bro, I'm sure, but a second factory hidden at the back of the main. It's going to be mech, or at least a spicy opener. It looks like Blue Flame Hellions. More than likely. And then we'll see past that point. 2 factories is not a full commitment, but it certainly trends in that direction. But it's clearly something he's trying, and Maru used to great effect against Reynor himself as well. So Reynor has a tendency to cut those corners. And sometimes when you cut too many corners, you leave yourself without an edge. 3 Hellions, an Infernal Pre-Igniter. Blue Flame on the way. Cutting out any amount of creep tumors will be a huge deal to limit speed and vision. And Reynor does not have an Overlord really close enough. We'll see if Clem's success... As long as he doesn't rally out that third Heli, he needs to not go by that Overlord. He needs to hide any additional Hellions and sell the idea that he's going for Banshee or really anything else. Because if he gives it away too early, then Reynor will be able to set up... Literally, this needs to hit and incinerate a third of the economy immediately. It's a big commitment. It's medium risk to high reward. And right now, Reynor does not have a roach horn. He's not building any additional lings. He doesn't have a wall. The Zerglings are trying to counterattack. Blue Flame is closing in, and it's going to be more of a bio-curious experience. He has more barracks on the way. The stim, third command center's floating over. But those Hellions are banking up, and now he's going to send them out. Blue Flame nearly completed. There is no roach. Zerglings are clearly not the ideal counter here, but the Zerglings get in one way or another. And Clem, the door's open. Oh, Hero took the controls. Not again. Hero, get off the stage. It's happening again. I think, well, 6 SCVs dead will mitigate the potential losses, but here come the Hellions, burninating into the mineral line. The Queen's on the wrong side of history. The drones are vulnerable, incinerating half a dozen to start, and but wait, there's more. All the drones so far that he's been able to get a hold of torched immediately. That Queen needs to hold the ramp. The Zergling's coming out, but the damage was done on the other side. Clem does have a third base. He might try to dart into the third. A lot of the Hellions being cut apart, but Zerglings are not the counter you need. The Blue Flame Hellions are the direct option to deal with them. And overall, if those Zerglings didn't get into the main, then I think Clem is in a decisively winning position. But guess what? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. 13 drones dead, but Clem is still down 10. And because he went for the 2 factory, he delayed the rest of his tech. He just started his starport 6 minutes into the game. Which I said dramatically because that's quite late. And surprise! The Banelings slam at the top of the ramp, and Clem is beaten back. He tucks his metaphorical tail between his legs, and he heads right back home. It's a disaster for the Frenchman. It went from tentative to terrible. As now, Reynor has full control of the map. He has 4 bases. He's got 10 drones in production. That's confidence. And Baneling speed on the way. The layer's already complete. Give me the Hydra Den. Will he actually... Wait, has he read this correctly? If he knows this is just barracks, he could go straight up to Hive. Hydra Den's a safer choice, but not necessarily a better one. Because if it's just Marines and more Hellions, he's just continually building Hellions. And maybe Hellbats with them. But... It's all in flux right now, but Reynor definitely has the advantage. He's building 2 more hatches, including a macro hatch. He's got the 3 o'clock position. 1-1 upgrades. Melee attack. Carapace. 1-1 for Clem as well. It's going to be quicker. Hydralisk Den is halfway there. And Reynor is fully confirmed at this point what unit composition he's dealing with. Actually, hard supply blocked at 115. Clem has the supply advantage, especially in army. But there's no armory, so that means no Hellbats. Still going to be hard to engage into this army. 1-1 well-timed as Clem stimming, stutter-stepping, gutting down the Queens like only a Frenchman can, and the Hellions still covering. But the Banelings are not light units. They don't take extra damage, it's just they don't have a lot of HP. The Banelings still dancing around. Reynor needs to hold on to this base to maintain that economic lead. Still dancing back, in and out of the line of fire in the most literal sense. The Banelings closing in, a couple more Hellions go down. Armory still not done. Clem pushed back for now. The Hellions take the wrong path. The creep receded all the way back to the hatch. But wait, there's more. 78 drones. We got 12 Hydras in production. No Hydra upgrades, though, which could be relevant eventually. But right now, it's about the battle for the hatchery. The Queens slapping the transfuses into the front line. The Hellbats are on the field, but that actually makes them a little more vulnerable to the Banes. Easily tanks it. Clem burning through. The Queen's nearly out of energy. The Banelings with big hits. Another round comes through. The Hydra's on the back. 1-1 about to complete seconds after this critical engagement. But it's enough, and Clem is forced to turn around. Reynor takes a 20 supply lead. Another medevac is taken out, and Clem actually turns around to fight the Hydras. And I think we'll regret that immediately. Does Reynor realize he doesn't have any Hydra upgrades? Does he need them? Yes. Hydra speed is very important. It's very sad to watch Hydras without speed. But enough Zerglings in front means they don't take the focused fire of the Marines, and now there's a Marauder there just for flavor. +1 ranged attacking Carapace. No infestation pit for Reynor. And Clem is keeping the pressure on. But the fact that the critical mass of Hydras is coming together. We're talking 10, 15, 20 is pushing it. Actually, 20 is kind of unwieldy because they trip over each other. But especially without range. But having 10, 15 Hydras means you have a very good opportunity to knock out these smaller groups of units that Clem has a tendency to split off. So, let's see if this works. Close enough. The creep is receding. But for now, yeah, the drop is coming in. And the Hellbats, not much to match this, but on the other side, Banelings on the wrong side of the hatchery, and Clem using it against him. Some drones will die. But a couple Banelings rolling in, targets down, Hydra's now in position. Did he queue up the ranged attack? I don't believe so. Knocks out the Marauder, slices through the Hellbats. Great target fire by Clem, but that seems redundant. The Hydra's fighting heads up, which, for now, good enough. Did he cancel ranged attack in favor of melee? Interesting. +2/2 for both sides. Clem will have a slight advantage, though not as decisive as the +1. The fourth base going to be delayed yet again. Zerglings get the wrapper out of the bio, which is already badly bruised. Hellbats doing what they can, but it's not good enough. Meanwhile, Zerglings denying the fourth base. +2/2 finishing up. But Clem is down 40 supply. The sheer biomass of the Hydras is maybe too much. And Clem not going to die so easily. He's actually added a lot of Marauders in, which is a curious choice against this many Hydralisks. The Marauder Hellbat composition is a unique one. The Zerglings find the counterattack. Hive is on the way, but still a long way from completion. Banelings rolling in towards the third. Clem has a wall, but he's looking the wrong way! And now he's not looking at all. It's a disaster. The economy obliterated. 21 SCVs dead. And it's gone from bad to much, much worse. Clem down to 38 workers against 93 drones. An economic disaster. The Hydras are fighting heads up on the field. The army supplies are about even. 2-2 done. The Hydras, the lines are holding on either side. But Reynor can reinforce more easily, juggling Hellbats to the front, but no amount of clowning will solve this problem. And I think he's done it. Clem is still going to fight it out, but there's a Lurker down on the way. The hive nearly complete. Only one building has died in this entire game. Classic. A single sensor tower, as they've just been murdering each other on the field, but that's it. Clem, looking frantic, losing one after another of these units. Brawling it out, but GG. Reynor, game number 1. The Zerglings got in. Today's a day of Zerglings getting into the base. And when the Zerglings get in, your chances of winning drastic go down. Those zooms are way too fast. Way too fast. Well. Here we go. Game 2 in the bottom left, in the blue, from Team Liquid. It is
Clem.
And with a dominant performance, outstripping Clem's macro, we have the Italian Stallion. It is
Reynor.
Now, Clem did that same build. For some reason, the supply depot looks tilted in that area, which is hilarious. But, what is that? Is that a drone? Does she have a drone? A light-up drone? I want a drone. Check out my Dronely fans for. Well, Clem did that same strategy last weekend at Big Gabe's Cup on that same map. And he also lost. It was a little more long-winded, but the Hellbats, well, the opener was different, but the composition was similar with the Marine Marauder Hellbat. Hellbats still just, they don't scale well. Once the Hydra and Baneling count is high enough, They're just not very good. They're unwieldy. They can't stim this patch. So, a questionable choice, but if it works, it works. And when it doesn't, it looks pretty rough. But is that a third wow. 3 CC. Clem, CC first, and a third before gas. Obscene greed. Three hatch before, or 3 CC before gas. Reynor will see the command center timing and know. He can't know about the second one, and honestly, it's not implied. It's definitely more greedy than your average build. But until he gets Zerglings in, or if he was willing to commit the first Overlord, which he's not. In fact, I don't think he saw the Overlord, because flying units have slightly more vision than things on the ground, for the most part. Allowing Reynor to see the command center without the command center seeing him. Also used a lot for spot and proxy racks and all that. Speed is on the way, but Reynor with a third hatch, which would be considered pretty quick if we didn't see the other command center in production. Factory on the way. I doubt we'll see the blue flame opener again. And honestly, I'm sure Reynor feeling very good. Wait, he's got 4 gases. That's a lot. All right, that is more than you need for... Yeah, well... Fool me once. And I will get fooled again. Second factory. Third factory. Well... The problem was he didn't double down. Clem taking us back to McDonald's, and this obviously is a mech build. 2 factories is an idea. 3 factories is a lifestyle. As he is going mass mech Terran. It looks like a Hellclone opener this time around. Something a little more sturdy in the mid-game. But could easily transition into just that siege tank Thor. There is an Overlord speed upgrade and a quick lair. Well, Overlord speed to scout, which is quite an investment, but I think it's going to pay off almost immediately. Seeing this before half the factories are done or producing is massive for Reynor. Just knowing it exists. He gets 1 Overlord in, he'll see multiple factories. He already sees the gas at the natural, that they're not all mine. He saw 2 factories. He needs to see the rest of them, but the Overlord's flinging in now. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. The Overlord, we'll see all of it. He knows. Mass factory, third base. We'll see Reynor's oh, Clem was in a position he was going to wall off his own units. One of us. We got Hellclones on the way. Roach speed in production. It's gonna be roaches. A direct counter. They usually want some Zerg. A roach drop. Why not? Throw it in there. Anything to distract. And he already has Overlord speed done, making Dropper Lords a much more economical endeavor. More roaches on the way. Reynor's at only 61 drones. He has taken this very seriously. That is, not the massive economy we saw in the previous game, but instead, oh, the Barracks Lord may actually spot this, somewhat inconveniently for Reynor. Ah, but clearly, as you can tell, he didn't see it. So sneaky. And could end up doing an inordinate amount of damage because Clem rallying the Hellclones across the map. He's going to have the upgrades done. 4th base will likely be taken out. He's not using the lock. I wonder if he disabled the lock-ons. Oh. Or he just right-clicked on it. They don't auto-lock onto buildings. You have to manually do so. Took me 2 seconds to remember that, but 2 more seconds than I should have. And there was no reason to waste it. 4 Hellions running by. Blue Flame is completed, but they just go right into the main. Happen right on by. The Queen, stop right there! 4 drones. But wait. The Roach drop is A bit of a nothing lord here. And Reynor's busy microing the roaches, and neither player really looking at the Hellions in Reynor's base. Some Zerglings somehow are burrowed in the third. I guess he just ran them in and dunked them down, and now the roaches on either side, but Reynor doesn't have a supply advantage. That means the roaches really need to rely on the element of surprise, which is one of the most unstable ones in the whole periodic table. And the hell clones on either side. Yeah. That's no. This is not an ideal scenario for the Italian Zerg. He needs infestors. Now would be good, but as soon as possible would be the next best. There you go, 2 in production. He needs to hold him down because that's the only chance of knocking him out. Burrow's on the way. Burrow move to add a bit more. I don't even know if there's an engineering bay for Clem, so he might not even be able to build turrets at the moment. Though he probably... Oh, he has one. He has one. He's building a Raven. The lengths we must go to get Clem to build a Raven. But here we are. Treading new ground. Which is a thing you do with ground, all right? Don't question it. The Roach is very angry about the Hellions getting close. Hive is on the way. And we're only 8 minutes in. Like, there's still a single Zergling. Some of the SCVs are actually not mining correctly there. Baneling Nest and double... Wait, Reynor has no upgrades at all. Clem only has +1 armor, because most of this unit composition is reliant on the additional damage it does with the mag field or the lock-ons or the blue flame. So very minimal upgrades as Brawling on the field. Fungal's pretty good. Raven doesn't have enough for anti-armor missile. And, well, Reynor, as soon as he turns tail, then the Cyclones lock on and start getting a whole lot of damage done. There's one Fungal ready. Reynor's kind of running thin on units. Burrow's back. Corrosive Bile lands. He needs that Fungal. A couple more pop out. Now's the time. Throws out a second one. Corrosive Bile. Knocking down. The Hellbats out in front are adding a whole lot of damage. He has one more on the back line. Needs to throw it out at the key time. Did he lose the... Oh my. He lost the Infestor. Target fired. Reynor's bleeding out. Being cauterized by the Hellbats. And it was a cute move. But in the end, I don't think it's gonna matter. The Raven, a strong gust of wind might blow it away. Knocks it out. The Roaches microing back, but there's not enough Roaches to really make it a threat. The hatchery itself, and this is the 4th base. Clem has landed a 4th command center. He's burrow microing like the AI here, or even better. The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for Reynor. Now Clem juggling with the medevac. And, well, the Infestors come back down. Another Fungal. Might actually melt through a couple of the Cyclones, but there's nothing to follow it up. Reynor, slowly but surely, being cut down, unit by unit, as those Cyclones thrive in such situations. He will survive. But we have to ask ourselves that question. Have you liked and subscribed? And at what cost? Wow, another game where not a single building died. These two. Madness. The Hellions getting in. That hatchery right on the edge. Clem's building multiple command centers. Vipers are coming out. Reynor, by the skin of his weird Zerg teeth, is holding it together, but... if you don't get the jump on the Hell Clones, it's almost impossible to regain the initiative. GG. Clem strikes back. The Clempire strikes back. Yeah, he tried. Veni Vidi Vici. Hit the light up drone. Not this time. Oh my god, somebody switched the music to the intro music. Here we go. Clearly we're starting. Can't you tell? Oh my. Clem versus Reynor all tied up. Players almost always prefer starting a new game instantly. And it's super annoying when you're trying to host a tournament. Of course, I'm sure they're the ones controlling it here, but 95% of the time players will try to be in the next game, like before you've even finished talking about the last one. It's Clem.
Clem.
I think they're introing him, and then there's the voiceover. That's why there's the cheer. and then the name.
Reynor.
Because it feels like the cheer should be after the name, but you know what? Whatever works. Is that Clem? Oh my, that new thumbnail face. That one was way too washed out. All right, Reynor. No Zerg likes dealing with that composition. It's a real pain. It feels like, oh, so he gets to hit me and I get to chase him. And then that's just going to keep happening until he either makes a mistake or I die. And yeah, that's kind of how it works with the Hell clones once you get to a certain point. There's almost nothing that can actually hunt them. Like the Zerglings can hunt them down, but that's why you got the Hellions. Of course, the Cyclone's quite good against roaches on their own. Reynor simply didn't have the economy early enough to put out the numbers to deal with it. He tried the little roach gambit. Didn't pay off in time. Back to a more standard opener for Clem. I'll try to work through... Yeah. Gonna work through the side rocks here. As Clem looking to block the third base with the SCV, which is infuriating, by the way. Reynor is drilling through the mineral wall. And I think he may get it in time before Clem realizes that that's happening. He sent the drones down in order to mine through the mineral wall and will be... He gets his third base in a relatively timely manner. It pays off. Oh, here we go. Clem. There you go. Yeah, just does the rest of his build in the 2 seconds back at home. Queues up the SCVs, headed back. His graphic settings on slightly less potato than Heroes were. But still quite potato. Just a fancier potato. French potato. It's really the mouse precision. For Clem, especially. Does he know about the third? He might think it's a 2-base all-in. The Brenda bounce gets 2. Any reason they have them on potato settings? They almost certainly have reduced violence and the physics off as well. Because that way you can see what's happening more easily and more quickly. They're not going to spend the time watching a Ultralisk eviscerate a Marauder or something. Or have explosions clutter their screen. Or Banelings. Like... You need to figure out what you're dealing with as quickly as possible. It used to be players would play on... And also for performance reasons, it used to be, but... There should be no tournament that's having an issue with that. It's a choice, not any sort of technical requirement. Oh, the perfect grenade. Oohs and ahs as well, there should be. Stim on the way. Clem with another factory. He's all over the place. I mean, it's mech in some fashion, but... Wait. Yeah. 2 barracks, 2 factory. The Noah's Ark build here. Okay. Well, we're gonna make Hellbats work or die trying. So much of the time it's the second thing, though. Like, And he's building a tech lab on the other factory. I think he's trying to bait Reynor into roaches? Wait, what's it gonna be? Sure, though. Almost like a Brood War-esque. Bio into mech. Double medevac headed out. Lair nearly completed for it. Wow, drilling claws rush. Disgusting. I mean, beautiful. Well, I'm leaning towards the first thing, but Veiling Nest isn't even done for Reynor. Not that it would be too much help here. The Queen's coalescing. All gathering up. One gets a gun down. Double engineering bait almost exactly the same time as the Evo chambers. So the upgrade should be at similar timings. I'm assuming nothing dramatic happens in the next, like, 30 seconds. Which, there are Marines on the field, so the possibility's there. Casual Overlord taken down. Picks up, drops right back out. But Reynor might... Oh, my God. Oh. Oh, this is disgusting. This is disgustingly beautiful. He's gonna have double... I think he's just gonna dunk the medevacs on his... I mean, dunk the Widow Mines on his face.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
Oh, my.
Casts on YouTube get me through the day for many years. Keep up the great work, Winter.
I just don't enjoy. This is new. And there's a very real chance Reynor takes critical damage with no chance to recover. He has 70 drones, 71 against 63 SCVs. It's not like he has a massive economic lead that can absorb such dramatic loss. Well, one, the Queens will politely yet firmly disagree with its presence. He doesn't know what's in those medevacs. But one Widow Mine and on the high ground diffuses the bomb for now. Another shot, Overlord. Could be worse. And the Spore Crawler provides vision. Not sure what happened to the other medevac, but the bomb has been diffused. And so far, Clem's antics have been stalled out. There's going to be another drop. 1, 2, 3, and gets... No, it's a big whole lot of nothing. Absolute flub. But wait, no! It's always the one you forget about. The Widow Mine is taken out. It could have been worse. He noticed at the last second. And the Banelings crash into the Marines. And just like that, any sort of opportunity evaporates. 1-1 upgrades finishing. Which ones? Yes. Both sides with attack and armor. The Widow Mines, an existential threat to everyone involved, try to drag out the shots. The Banelings do so. Interesting choice to use the Banes for that. The Zerglings dragging the hits in. Clem retargeting actively. Almost eats a Widow... That's how I feel with Widow Mines sometimes. But no Overseers. He's going to bring the Spore Crawler up for detection, which is technically one way to do things. But here come the Marines again. The Widow Mines are recharging. He needs detection. If those Widow Mines recharge and get another volley, but it doesn't look like... Oh, but wait, there's more! The Minecraft build will continue until morale improves. As 10 drones dead. Another Widow Mine. A massive grenade from the Reaper still at this stage of the game. The Queen's trying to drive it back, but Reynor scrambling to defend, but reinforcements are on the way. No concussive shells. The Queen's mostly getting away for now. Not all the Widow Mines have been cleared up, though. Several of them still menacing the field. The medevacs, oh, splits. Some decent hits, not great, not terrible. A few more Widow Mines burrowed down, and he's still spamming it. And the hatchery to the north side going to be taken down. The drop comes back for more, and there's still a mine. Oh, no, that's a big one. He gets the hatch. He gets another chunk of Lings and Banes. And the attacks on the APM here. He's lost 19 Widow Mines. He's still pumping them out 3 at a time. 2-2 upgrades on the way for Clem. +1 ranged attack and Carapace for Reynor. He's got a Hive and a Lurker Den on the way, but Reynor clearly not in the driver's seat right now. A drop in the main, an attack on the left. The Queen's trying to hold it down. Reynor splitting off. 9 drones dead. He still has 80 of them. Banelings rolling through, but the Hellbat sacrifices itself for the greater good. Another drop back up to the 12 o'clock base. The medevac is driven away, pinned back. Clem still has the supply lead, despite the fact Reynor's been able to hold the line for now. Another queen. The medevac over to the left side will boost away just in time, and the knitting needle's not able to catch up. Baneling's closing in. Clem slurps it up, of course, just in time. 179 to 172 supply across the board. Both sides. Similar upgrades, but that Hive and Lurker tech is finishing, and there's not even a hint of a Ghost Academy, neither in production nor on the field. And down goes a medevac. A dangerous path. Clem still, he plummets to a 15 supply, 20 supply lead. Ghost Academy's halfway done. 2-2 upgrades completed for both sides. Again, +1 range, but similar exchange. No! Oh, the Zerganity! Another massive drop. 15 drones dead. The Lurkers. He just stims and spreads right through them. And Clem opens up a 40 supply lead. Reynor shaking his head. As well he should. Just before he's able to bring the Lurkers together, Clem is tearing him apart. The Queen's caught on the side. The transfuse is a little late. The Lurkers are going to need to hold it together, but Ghosts are in production. Clem not slacking on the tech progression. Another mine drop. Clem with more drops than a Skrillex album right now, and forces out yet another pull away. 87 drones for Reynor. He keeps rebuilding. For every one he loses, it seems like he builds 2 more, but that's a lot of larvae he's not using on his army. The Banelings are gunned down easily. The hatchery at less than half HP. The Lurker's coming up. It does have range complete. A couple more medevacs and a few more Marines and Marauders are left behind. They'll expect some of us in the wreckage brothers. Another drop to the left. Reynor holding. But he hasn't been able... Neither side going for any further upgrades, despite Hive and despite 2-2. As every single resource is going to the army on the field. Reynor is starting to build up the Lurker count, but the Ghosts are there to counter it. One mediocre fight for either side could tilt the game dramatically, but most of the fights are on Reynor's side of things, making it very difficult to mass transfuse, but he pulled over to the right side, and now on the left, the army, the Widow Mines will slam home, and the army itself, the Baneling's not closing in, the Lurker's not intimidating enough, and Reynor's army, the Lurkers are easily stimmed down, the hatchery taken out, the Hydras tagged by the Marauders and chased down as well. And the drop got the job done. And now there's another drop to the north side. The Marines and Marauders almost completely dead from the stims and the everything else. The hatchery will be pulled back together for now. Picks up and heads to the natural, but it's all falling apart for Reynor. And Clem has taken exactly 0 damage on his side of the map for the last 10 minutes. Or the entire game, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know if Reynor has passed the halfway mark at all. 195 to 165 supply. The Marines, the Marauders, the Mines, the Medevacs, and the Magos on their way forward. But a few Lurkers in position. He's got the scan, lines up some of the shots, but there's not enough Ghosts to reliably interrupt them. Drop in the main. Spore Crawler helping to take it out. But there's just not enough here for Reynor. He doesn't have the numbers. And a few more Lurkers lined up. Knocked down Clem 2-1. Clem powers through. Reynor not as hyped about that one, but Clem holding it together. A knife edge could have cut either way. The mass Widow Mine drop. Something. It's certainly something. And it felt like it wasn't working right up until it did, but that's Widow Mines in a nutshell. It's not so much the Widow Mines doing damage themselves, though that is plausible. It is the attention it drags. Just 1 or 2 Widow Mines in the wrong spot can draw your attention and require several seconds to respond. Seconds that Clem is already stimming to your other base. So, it's, by the time you've dealt with the first wave, the second and third are already on the way. Clem breaking out 3 different styles. Let no one say Clem plays the same style every time. You're like, but he just built a bunch of ghosts and mines. Yeah, but the details do matter. And the details are why Reynor was unable to respond to it quickly. The timing and the magnitude of the Widow Mine drop. And the follow-up with it is what kept him off balance. If he had just gone Widow Mines off of a normally timed factory and started rattling them out, it's a lot easier to deal with than, surprise, there's 10 drilling claws mines scattered all throughout the field. All before you get to Hive. So. Reynor is not thirsty. He's thirsty for blood. He was offered another water. Clem will accept a second water, as he's already run out of his first one. Team Liquid, they call it. I mean, for a reason. Faster! More! Give me more, sir! And now's the time where we find out, is Clem gonna commit? That first SCV makes a supply depot. Let's not get crazy. Clem. Clem has 110% water to sustain his flow state.
Reynor.
And here we go. Everyone's introduced. We know who they are. We know what they do. The Zergling, who we asked who would win beforehand through chance, said Clem. 3-2. All right, that was the Zergling's choice. I flipped it instead of a coin because I don't have a coin because it's 2026, but I do have a Zergling. And so far, the Zergling has spoken true. But, yes, this map at the Liberator spot. Oh my. That is literally untouchable. Might be 3-1? Yeah. Reynor's been playing really well. Clem has successfully taken him off guard. Which, if you listen to YouTube comments, is something Clem doesn't. You know, I feel like this is the biggest stage of the year so far. Literally and figuratively. Like, have you seen that stage? Anyways. So, if there was ever a time, these two have played already, like, 3 major tournaments, or medium to major tournaments, finals, as well as, like, 6 high-level matches this year, in 2 weeks. So, if there was ever a time to save it and break it out, though, and these are things that Clem hasn't really done. Clem is innovating, whereas Reynor is reacting. And it's not good enough. Not against this. Don't do it. He was thinking about the edge, but he bought time for the Reaper. And the drone! It was close. But, I mean, that drone can't do anything now because the Reaper's going to stick around and bully it. Reynor looked very good versus Maru. Yeah, but Maru is... Let me check my notes. Not Clem. So here we are. More wisdom if you like and subscribe. Churlish and insubordinate. Get off my lawn! You... Ah! Brenda, are you okay? No! I don't... Oh. Sorry. I blacked out for... Triple team by the Queens, and the Zerglings get by, so Reynor, that's something. The third base was severely delayed, which is more important than picking off the Reaper, more important than getting a couple SCVs. But it's something. 8 more lings. That third base every second without the larva, without the injects, without the creep spread. Makes it a little bit easier for the Reapers and the Hellions, and, well, 1 Reaper, Hellions, and Banshee to get the damage done. Or at least keep control of the situation so Clem can follow it up with the inevitable. I was gonna say inevitable medevac timing, But this series, it has not been inevitable. He's gone mech. He's gone mech into bio. He's gone bio into mech. And now, just the standard. All right, we have 111. The Destiny Cloud Fizz built. The Barracks Factory, the Starport. Cloak is on the way. More queens and a second barracks now sets the path. It's going to be bio this time around. The most standard build so far. Lair starts for Reynor. 14 more lings is quite an investment. He may be traumatized. Maybe a bit of a strong phrase, but from the earlier Hellion build. And is making sure he doesn't cut any corners on that front. A Clem with the double NG bay. Wow, very clean on this map especially. The look on his graphic setting. I mean, of all the people to know what settings. Microing. Putting the wall together. Build together. Hellions together. Just simply rotate through every part of the map 3 times a second, and you can keep control of the entire Zerg as well. That's all you gotta do. There you go. Hellions, Banshees, production. Hellions. Well, that really undercuts my whole statement, doesn't it? The Zerglings get in! It's a disaster for Clem! Look at all the places but the ones that mattered most. And 5 SCVs dead. As Clem got caught. That flow state working against him. 9 SCVs will pay the price. Reynor up 20 workers with the very well-timed run-by. That's always been a weak point for Clem. He's so active on the edges of the creep, on the other side of the map. He sometimes neglects the home front. But Reynor made sure to give it the attention it deserves. And Reynor opens up that is a big deal. Not just a medium deal, a big deal. Capital B, just the B. Get up! The Hellions are going to try to run by, which is pretty desperate, though surprisingly, a few more lings are coming out, maybe just in time to mitigate this. And if he could get, yep, could be a lot worse here. The fact is, Reynor has the upgrades at the same time. He already had the drone count. He already had the creep spread. He did not sacrifice any core parts of his Zerg build in order to get this done. Instead, he probably would have been happy with just getting a few Hellions. But he got 10 SCVs. And now he's got his 4th base rather comfortably. Now all he has to do is choose when and where he actually fights. Because Clem will keep the pressure on. But Reynor will have a decision. Does he just keep droning up and get to Hive? Or does he hit the mid-game timing? Obviously, he has to defend the medevacs, but it's the difference between getting like 87 drones and getting an infestation pit and just spamming Hydras, Lings, and Banes. 2 Hydra dents. That's how important they are. Which, you know, you could make an argument for double upgrades, but I think he forgot he built the first one because they're so staggered. Oh no, 100 gas. The end of the world. I think he canceled it. He realized. But the Zerglings will hunt it down. A double drop still keeping the pressure on. Clem always has a tendency, well, he focused so much on the build. Part of why he took so much damage, but he has his production online. The supplies are dead even. Then Reynor builds another round, but 1-1 completed. Reynor's not too far behind. I gotta stress that. And it is stressful. Everybody's stressed right now. And if you're not stressed, well, I'm glad my voice is so relaxing. Wake up! 1-1 completed for Reynor. Target fires a single bane and then decides that's a few too many. The Queen's on the left side, holding it together. The transfuses until the Zerglings can get in position. And, well, they don't have combat shield, but apparently they don't need it, as those drugs and guns are more than enough. 3 Widow Mines at a time, though. No drilling claws on the way yet. That implies he has a tech lab factory. Target fire stutter stepping back. The combat shield is actually, I think he maybe forgot it for a bit. Infestation pit begins. We got +1 ranged attack, +2 carapace. Clem just started +2 attack. His armor should be shortly behind. But Reynor will be taking an upgrade advantage of sorts, assuming he can survive to that point. And the fact that Clem doesn't have drilling claws on the way is a big deal. No capitals. Maybe italicized, but that might be Reynor's forte. Meanwhile, siege tanks finding shots. The Marines, whoa, oh no! But while Clem was doing his perfect micro on the left, Reynor bashed through the drop on the right. But wow, holding his ground and knocked down every single baneling. He's gonna get the hatchery. The micro just carved him out a hatchery. A dozen banelings and not a single one touches the Marines. A decent engagement for Clem. He needs a little more of that, but not too much. Reynor does have a hive on the way. Clem realizes the lack of drilling. Calls the medevacs. We're caught in transit. A couple get taken down. Meanwhile, another drop rolled. The siege tanks, the Widow Mines will burrow, but again, no drilling claws. Means they're easier to deal with in almost every way. The Widow Mines being dragged out by the Zerglings. Splits and stabs the Zerglings going every which way. The Hydras will deal with it. That lack of drilling claws, but a single Banshee. He has the cloak still, and this is more than enough Hydraslings and Banes to close in. He has to pick up and get out. The Banshee's still doing damage. Oh my, would you stop? The Banshee, the only thing between Clem and total oblivion here, as it so often is. But the Hive is seconds away. No Ghost Academy. 86 to 66 workers. +2 Carapace is now done for Reynor, giving him an upgrade advantage at a very key time. Takes down the Widow Mine because of the lack of drilling claws means it doesn't burrow quickly enough. He's able to rip it apart before it's in the ground. Burrow is now done as well. Burrow Bane's a strong option, especially against a relatively low economy Terran. 68 SCVs. He should only have 3, maybe 4 orbitals at this time. And Reynor a little supply blocked awkwardly, drawing in the Widow Mine hits it. They work both ways. The Widow Mine smash into the Marines as well. Down goes the Banshee. He brought an Overseer this time, but an attack over to the right side. And again, Reynor's there to defend. He deflects on the right. He beats him back on the left. And now the Ghost Academy is on the way, but Reynor has retained the momentum. He has the economy. He has the upgrades. But he still needs to find a way to do damage to Clem. Usually Lurkers are the choice. The Bane Mines are scattered. See if they're enough. Lurker range is now nearly complete. The first Ghost just entered production, so the Lurkers are an existential threat. But that doesn't mean Clem can't handle them with just the M&M. There's a Bane Mine behind where you'd be fighting. He could push him back into it potentially. Another Bane Mine in position. And he just goes for it. Cuts out the side. 20 supply lead. And now Clem, the floor beneath his feet, is potentially disastrous. And not just because of the Widow Mines. We're going to get the target fire is impeccable. More Banelings. But the thing is, the Hydras have more range than the Lings themselves. And can bring down the medevacs in turn. Reynor is maxed out. High-tech Lurkers already burrowed down. Clem scrambling for as many ghosts as he can get. 3-3 upgrades only halfway there. Widow Mine hits a Lurker. Lurker upset about it, but will live to be upset about it. Lurker burrow speed now completing. 10 Banelings on the way. 20 Banelings on the way. Lurkers eviscerating the Marauders. Only a single one will survive with a horrible story to tell. Another drop just splits off, deals with the Widow Mine, and Clem. The last gasp of pressure. Reynor has survived the Crucible. And now the turntables have turned, and DJ Reynor is going to be slamming the base. The Lurkers headed across the map on either side. Lurkers on the left and Lurkers on the right, and not nearly enough ghosts in the middle. The Widow Mines will slam home, but the base is easily taken out down the center. Reynor actually bleeding out a lot of units in the process. A split and stim will take out a couple more Lurkers. Liberator's almost uncontested, but Reynor's already refilling. +3 attack still not done. He's cutting off the reinforcements. The Liberators, 3 bases being hit simultaneously. 62 more Zerglings. There's nothing to really stop this. Barely enough to stall it out. The Liberator panicking to try to get the damage done. But it's too much. The ghosts are dead before they even come out of the second base. And I think Reynor is going to be dragging us violently to game number 5. Clem, the Lurkers are underneath. He doesn't have the scans anymore. And he has no way to stop them. Reynor strikes back yet again. The Zergling, so far, the predictions completely accurate. The Zergling never lies. 2-2. Here we go. Thank you. Oh my god. Every time. Why is that? Just tone it down. Gonna just hit him. The camera's just gonna hit him in the face. I don't know. Terran versus Zerg. Clem versus Reynor. 2-2. Mothership is game number 5. Clem!
Clem.
That's what I said. And striking back.
Reynor.
Here we go. It all gets decided here. The Zergling predicted Clem 3-2. I happen to agree with its assessment. It's a 3-player map. Reynor is sending his overlord the wrong direction. Not that he could know that, not that that's a mistake, it's just how it works. I think the positioning of the bases is okay for Reynor. I think it's worse to have the Terran be in that top right corner, where they can move out into your outlying bases and drop your main. But we'll see. If there was ever a time to maybe think about the mutas, of course, I'm sure both sides will be thinking about it pretty hard. But what a match so far. By far the closest series of the tournament. Maybe besides Reynor versus Maru. Oh my god, the dramatic. Calm down, Protoss music. We're scouting. My god. Honestly, every game so far has come down to the early tempo advantage. Some actual damage, but between Reynor getting the run-bys, the 2 games Reynor won, he got Zerglings in the base. The 2 games Clem won, he prevented that. It's pretty simple. Like, so far, if Reynor has been able to undercut the early game build with the oldest trick in the book, then he's been able to maintain some momentum long enough to take home the victory. But Clem is very dangerous if he's allowed to go about his build. And he's still dangerous even if he isn't. Just manageably so. A drone. Dead. An inauspicious start for the Zerg. Losing a drone to the first Reaper feels bad, man. And it's a real emotional damage. And it's not a small chunk of your economy. A medium chunk. Three CC before starport. Not super quick. Not the intense greed we saw in Old Republic, but still on the greedy side of things. Reynor got his 3rd hatchery very quickly as well. The Zergling speed severely delayed, but it still will be the first choice of upgrade. Gonna make sure I'm all caught up here. We're doing it live. How convenient that midday in China is a perfect time for me to stream. So hopefully you're enjoying the live experience, as I am a vampire. And welcome to my lair. Wait, not yet. We'll see if he opts for it, though. The Reaper. Still going. The Hellions run by into the natural. Good split on the drones, but 4, 5. He knows the Zergling speed was delayed because of the timing of the hatchery. Not great, not terrible. I mean, 2 Hellions and a Reaper, not a huge price to pay. I'm gonna call that one a draw. A bit of mining time lost as well, but yeah. 2 barracks behind. Clem following it up once again with the bio play. We've had enough with the mech. All right, he got his games in, pulled home 1 victory. What? What did he even shoot at? What? Nothing took damage, unless they don't have damaged health bars. I think they do. Is there a Zergling? Is that Critter? Anyways. Well, Lair's on the way. How many gases will Reynor have before it completes? Double engineering bay and mass barracks for Clem. It's gonna be a whole bunch of Marines. That Lair is very quick. There's no evos yet for Reynor, but he hasn't added on gas, so I'm wondering where he's going with it now. Because it's unlikely to be... He has 1 gas. Like, at this stage, is wild. Like an Ultralisk rush? Like, pure Ultra rush? What are you doing? His upgrades are going to be so far behind. Here comes the Clem action cam. As he just murders the queens. He may even... Wait, he's just fighting the Spore! He's like, what if I just killed the Spore? Yeah, that works. Yeah, that's also something you can do. A scan in the main. I think that was an infestation pit that he just clicked on. Meanwhile, here come the Hellions. Gonna try to run by. Not having as much success, but the Banshee's already doing quite well. No, an Evo chamber. Hydrogen? We don't actually know because we were in Clem's cam for the whole thing. No? Either way, Reynor taking a lot of drone damage and not getting much in return here. I guess it was an Evo chamber. Yeah, double Evo. I'm dumb. I thought it was a hatchery, one of a macro hatch. Mass Hydra. As the queens will gather to try to drive the Banshees back, but unfortunately the Hatchery Owners Association does not have a plan for dealing with flying units. Which is unfortunate, but predictable. Oh, there goes 1. But here come the Marines already. Reynor trying to rush out Mass Hydra, but the key point, he did absolutely no damage to Clem's side of the map. Clem has been allowed to go about his build untouched. And now the pressure is on. Reynor has certainly been touched. And we're moving on from that. But for now, has enough back at home to defend. The Hydras are building up. And Clem has been entirely reliant on the Widow Mines for several games in a row, and this game is no exception. Infestation pit just starting. There's the drilling claws. Somehow the Banshee's still finding damage. 7 kills so far. Double drops on either side. The double-double. Making it very difficult to deal with. As without Hydra speed and without creep, there's no way to really chase this down. I'm trying to make sure at least one of those is permanent. Hydra speed will eventually complete the Zerglings, but he just pin cushions the Widow Mines. Hive has begun. Clearly what Reynor was angling for from the start. And if he can get there without taking critical economic damage. Big asterisk. The Marines slurped up into the medevacs and darts away again. Badly bruised 1, but everything's still alive. Lurker den on the way right alongside the lair. Takes the same amount of time, or the hive, same amount of time to complete as well. The Marines surrounded, the Widow Mines targeted, taken down. The Hydras with a great concave, fighting heads up and putting the Marine heads down. Drilling claws now completed, but Reynor holding it together here. Clem does have a 4th command center on location. He's got 67 SCVs. He hasn't built some for a while. 3 more racks on the way to join the 2 factories. Ghost Academy in production. And this game looks like it's going to be even more dramatic than the last. I don't think Clem is going to be able to break through even with the 2-2, especially with the Lurkers coming up. But at the same time, Clem will have a good enough economy to progress into the next tier of tech. So, unless he gets caught at this exact moment, oh, Reynor draws the Widowmine hit in! And just in time to help break the Marines. The Overseer helping out in the most dramatic fashion. He transfuses another one to try to drag the hit in, and he will do so. Minimizes the damage, but wait, there's more. The Widowmines are recharging on either side. Reynor's supply block from losing these Overlords, which is devastating. He's going to take down 2 more mines just before they recharge, which is massive right now. 4 ghosts at a time. Lurker range is on the way, but I don't think there are any Lurkers on or underneath the field. A Nidus network in production. The first Lurker will be built. +2 ranged attack and +2 carapace. The Nidus will be targeted, restarted immediately. The medevacs in a precarious position, and by that I mean one of them is dead. Meanwhile, the Lurkers are building, not quite completed yet. Overseer moving in, Widowmine taken down. Reynor holds, Clem down 40 supply. He's overextending himself. It might be digging too deep and too greedily as he's fighting heads up against the hydras and the carapace. +2 carapace about to complete. I don't know, hydra. I meant Lurkers when I said carapace, but the Nidus network on the way. Not the time. Why would you do that now? Jimmy's fault. He was touching the keyboard again. +3 infantry weapons and armor. Now on the way for Clem, but the supply has dipped precariously. He's got mass ghost in production, and so far, Reynor has not been able to exploit the supply gap like he might like to. That was a sentence. But Clem fighting from behind here, which sometimes the most dangerous and sometimes just painful. The Lurker count is growing. Reynor shows no indication. He doesn't have any melee attack upgrades. He does not have Adrenal Glands. He is effectively all in on Hydra Lurker, which is an interesting place to be and uniquely vulnerable to things like Mass Ghost, but also very powerful against things like Mass Ghost. It really depends on the angle. The Widowmines thinning out the Zerglings, which are almost entirely there just to box out for this composition. And Reynor gonna try to go right down the center, but the Terran's collapsing from either side. Nidus in the natural, not being responded to, and Reynor's threatening the front at the same time. Clem can't afford to split too much off. The Mass Ghost is in position, but there's no detection with this army. Does he have Cloak? If he does, it could be disastrous. I don't think he does, though. Hasn't had the opportunity. That means the Ghosts will have to line up their shots in plain sight. 3-3 is about to complete. Clem is holding on. The Nidus was shut down. 5 more Lurkers on the way. Adrenal Glands for no melee attack Zerglings. I mean, it's something, right? It's the best single damage upgrade. That the Ghosts will arc out and line up their shots. And Reynor starting to lose a lot of the momentum he gained through the mid-game. Another volley of Widowmines will get some big hits. But he gets into the 3rd base where plenty of SCVs are modding and another set of Lurkers at the 4 o'clock position. Multiple bases and going right through the fire. And a Nidus in the natural being uncontested. 11 SCVs dead. He has to lift the 3rd. Reynor finally found the angle. And the Nidus screams into existence. And the Lurkers were burrowed down in the natural. Clem forced to retreat, but he's been set on both sides by the Zerg. Takes it down, but another Nidus. The Lurker's being taken out. Are there even scans ready? He may be out of them. Another orbital command is in the air, but he has no detection. He can't shoot the Lurkers because he can't see them. It's an absolute disaster for Clem. A classic mistake, and it may cost Clem everything. Reynor is knocking on the door, and Clem doesn't have an answer. The Nidus in the main is taken down. Finally gets a scan, but he's holding the door. The last bastion of economy is overrun. And Reynor, Clem is locked into his base. He cannot get out. They are coming. But the planetary It's holding! It's holding! And Clem saves it! What a save! At the last possible second. However many HP in the single digits. Clem gonna ferry some of the units over. I'm surprised he didn't try this earlier. But an orbital command is burning to the north. May eventually be taking down another Nidus in the main. Oh, that's not even an orbital, but he's gonna try. Lines up some shots, takes out another Lurker, goes for the Lurker eggs. There's another one burrowing down. Reynor actually dropping in supply, but still no scans! And for once, the lack of detection will favor the Zerg. It's a disaster. Clem is supply blocked from losing command centers. We've arrived! The Queens arriving through the Nidus to pull it all together. And Reynor has the economy, he has the production. And Clem, it's close to needing a miracle at this point. He may have one more chance to break out, but there's just no... He's going for the base trade of sorts. Might be able to just go through the Nidus. A desperation move indeed. But he's coming back through the Nidus with the Queens as something to deal with this, but that might not be enough. And this is exactly the move. Clem needed something to change the equation, and so far... Meanwhile, the planetary is dying. It's dead. Clem looks back. It's gone. The SCVs are running through. Nowhere to mine from. Reynor deals with the counterattack. And Clem may be ripped to shreds. I say, yet another Nidus. And Reynor still has the economy. He still has the production. The upgrades are really bad, but the Terran army, well, that's the saving grace for Clem right now. The upgrades. Somehow Clem breaks out. He's working off of every single scan, and they're running out. He doesn't have the detection. He can't stop the Lurkers. And Reynor slices through into the grand finals. He's done. By that much. It looked rough, but he held the line. The mass hydra Lurker. Yeah, well, gotta shake his hand out before he shakes Clem's. Clem, with a smile, but still. Reynor holds it together. The Zergling. You got me with that. I thought it knew all along. Reynor. Reynor's gonna trash talk. I mean, that's all he did in the first interview was say Protoss was easy in Imba. That was his entire contribution to the pregame, so. 里面其实是 Clem 选手先拿到的赛点，你在他拿到赛点的时候是如何调整自己的心态，最终拿下了这个波舞的总胜利。So actually, Clem got the match point first, right? How did you adjust your mentality?
Well, it looks like I don't really like easy series, so I always gotta go to match point. That's what I used to do when I won the World Championship as well. So I guess maybe it's a good sign.
雷诺说他其实不喜欢赢得太简单啊，所以他的
I think they interpreted it as an insult, but that was actually some self-deprecation there. But it could be interpreted as an insult. Like I was just holding back.
雷诺在第一把的时候，你的对手 Clem 是选择了一个蓝火火车的战术，这个战术其实不太常见。你当时看到他放这个战术的时候，你心里想的是怎么应对呢
？So on map 1, Clem played a blue flame opening, right? When you saw it, what's your thought?
Well, I didn't expect him to do something cheeky on that map because I think it's a good Terran map. So I was very surprised. I feel like I'm good in this kind of scenario where it's messy and I have to find the right play, but fortunately I did.
所以其实他第一时间看到的时候是有点意外，因为他觉得第一张地
Reynor
图
still
就是人数
a
比较
heart
好
rate
所以他没太想到就是 Clem 会用一个就是非常规的打法啊。不过他觉得自己就是非常擅长处理
He's
非常规
calming
的
down,
情况，
but
这也是他的
yeah,
一个
that was pretty
强项
intense.
啊，所以他也很开心，最后那一局他拿下。
那其实今天我们看到 Clem 的战术有蛮多把都是针对你的狗毒爆来进行这个战术针对的，但是我们看到你在第4把依然在对面很针对你狗毒爆的打法下，你还是选择了狗毒爆，你是对自己的操作有信心，还是今天就想跟 Clem 硬碰硬？
So basically for the first 3 maps, Clem was trying to counter the Link Bang playstyle. Like map 1 is it was split blue flame. Map 3 was like fast mine drops, right? So you still decided to play Link Bang on the map.
Because roaches suck.
Like
He's gonna say roaches suck.
Very
All
confident
right.
in your Link Bang,
This is his
or
opportunity to say
very
roaches suck.
confident in a standard Link Bang game into a macro game.
The overall plan for the series was just to get 2 lurkers, just without taking too much damage, and I think that's the best way to get there. I'm not very good with roaches, so yeah, I just went for it.
所以雷诺说，其实
Also, these questions are on point. Though maybe translated a little weirdly, but they're good questions.
啊，所以他没想太多，这就是他计划，就是狗毒爆，并且他觉得他不是特别擅长用蟑螂的打法啊，所以
He basically said roaches suck, but he said it in a... He trash talks before the series, but he's humble afterwards. I guess you don't need to trash talk anymore. The results speak for
那我们
themselves.
想问一下，总决赛你要面对到的对手是小 Hero。小 Hero 在之前已经淘汰了2位非常顶尖的虫族选手，一位 Cyril， 一位 Sola。现在你是最后的
Hero
虫族了
murdered Cyril, he
能否
murdered Solar. How are you
让
gonna stop him
沦陷
from murdering you? And Reynor's gonna be like, I don't know, Protoss is too strong.
So you're gonna play Hero in the finals. He's already defeated 2 very good Zerg players. Are you confident to defeat Protoss, defeat Iron in the finals?
Yes.
Yes.
哇我们再一次
He stopped himself from saying anything. 100%.
希望他在总决赛
Diplomatic
能有好的表
Raider
现
here.
那我们的赛后采访到这里告一段落
He's like,
休息一
I
下
won. I
一会儿
shouldn't
回
be
来
shit talking now. And it was more fun before, but now I actually have to. No way. He just said, yeah. Get out of here. All right. Yes. Uh-huh. Would you like to elaborate? No. I don't. No. This is not a yes or no question. Yes. Well, now we see whether Hero is able to pirouette his way into another championship, or if he ends up tripping over his own shoelaces. Hero, who didn't manage to wall off a single game against Solar, yet it really didn't matter any of them. Letting Zerglings at his base every single time. We'll see. We didn't really see any of... We saw, like, a few seconds of Reynor's action cam. They kept going to Clem's. I want to see more. I wish there was a stream of just the player cams. GSL used to have that, but they got, like, 43 viewers total on it, so... because people all say they want to watch that, but then don't. Because trying to keep up with Clem and Reynor in the long term is just a... dizzying. Well, yeah. We still have Rogue versus Oliveira first, so... Yeah. I don't usually cast tournaments live, not necessarily because I don't want to, but because most of them are not held at 2 a.m. Eastern Time / 8 a.m. Europe. But I guess China is right on point for me. Which is the normal stream time. I thought it'd be a little silly. Oh my god, did you see that? That target fire. Still didn't matter in the end, but... Jeez. I thought it would break. The Hydra Lurker? It looked like Clem was breaking out, and then Reynor found the contain. He slipped by on either side. And Clem just ran out of scans, which is a weird place to be, but it was super effective. Actually crazy. Though Reynor is better. So the thing is, Reynor is better placed than any other Zerg player to take advantage of the tomfoolery that Hero does. The shitty walls that aren't walls, even Hero not noticing. The lack of defense on counterattack, the multi-prong. That is Reynor's strong suit. Probably better than Serral and Solar. Is the early game counterattacks and micro. So, if anyone has a chance, I think Reynor actually has a better one, in that stage of the game at least. Anyways, enjoy this. I'll be right back. Get some more water myself. Joining Team Liquid.
如今，我们的创世者 Zalnaga 回来了。他回归是为了拯救。